must be a full moon. Hey, good morning, Bella Vista. Our mayor, John Flynn, is back with me today, and we've got good things to tell people, don't we?
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about as usual. There's a lot going on, so that's good.
Yeah, it's really good. And now, I have to give you a little bit of a hard time. Is this your final new look? Because, we went from pirate to rock star, and this is your final new look, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay.
We're going with the sweater vest today.
Okay, and no glasses.
Yeah.
You're okay. Good. You need to keep us on our toes here.
Yeah.
So, okay. So yes, you had a good work session Monday night, and I guess the next city council meeting will bring some of these things forward to a vote. But let's start with the plan for fire station number 1 and City Hall and.
Yeah, where fire station number 1 is right there at Lancashire and 71. It's always been in the plan going back to Peter Christie's time. When the police moved out, we would refurbish that 2-story level for the fire department folks to live in. And what they're going to have is the sleeping on the first level. That way they're on the same level as the trucks and the ambulances.
So no fire poles to come down.
Yeah, it's easier to get going in the middle of the night. And then the second level will be like daytime living quarters. So, and that's going to be up for approval Monday. This Monday, I'm confident that'll get approved. And that's to completely, it's all interior work. They're completely gutting that interior area and make it in those quarters. So the firemen are really anxious to do that. I was talking to the chief the other day, and that actually, fire station number 1, we've got 4 stations, but that one has more people in it. It has 7 firemen there, and most of the others have 3 or 4. And it also does about 60% of the calls.
Oh.
So it is kind of the main.
Oh, it's
central.
Still
the main hub, yeah. And anyway, the rest of the plan, Chief Sims showed folks a little bit at the work session Monday. In front of that 2-story structure, they're going to build a new 2-story structure, and the first level will be City Hall, and the second level will be the fire officers, like the fire chief, deputy fire chief, and whatnot, will be on that level. And the building inspectors are in there also. So that's what they're planning there. Then after they've complete that, they're going to refurbish where City Hall is, which is, of course, part of the same building. And that's going to be for CDS, Community Development. It's going to be in there. And then where the bays are, right now there's 3 bays. They're going to add 2 new bays, which will be longer and taller. And so it's kind of like I guess it's 4 different phases, and it'll take more than a year to do all that. The chief thinks it'll be about 6 months just to do the interior part where the fire department folks will stay. So, our thinking was we wanted to get CDS back with us so everyone's together. And I found the city employees and the CDS employees, City Hall employees, both wanted to be together very much. And I think it'll really help with coordination, because then you have the fire headquarters and the City Hall and CDS all in one location there. Plus, we already own that land and own that building, so it'd be a little more economical, I guess you'd say. Although there's a little bit of a cost to it, but everybody's pretty excited about it, and I think it'll be a great thing going forward. As an aside, near your offices here are, the street department and the police department. And I come over here sometimes for meetings, and I'm always early. Because I think, oh, it'll take about 15 minutes. It only takes about 5 minutes to get over here.
Isn't it amazing?
So we're pretty close to the rest of the folks too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You know, I don't know who it was at the work session. I don't know, was it your architect or was it an engineer? I don't know. But the gentleman that stood up with Chief Sims and was talking about that this first phase will be take the longest, but that's where all your power sources and all your everything will be in that. So the rest of it won't take quite as long because the hard part for the whole building will be included in that first phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. They have they have a generator in case they have a power outage that covers the whole building, and all the electrical and the IT and whatnot is all going to be in that first phase.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, if at first you don't succeed, you try it again. And I'm talking about the half-mil police pension on the ballot. We're going to put it back on the ballot?
Yeah, we didn't quite get it on the ballot this November, so we're going to put it on for the election in the spring, which is March 5, and it'll be a presidential primary and be a pretty active election. But it's March 5. Early voting starts February 19, and it's a $500,000 for police pensions. So it would cost the average person less than $19 a year. So it's amazing how little those mills cost you, and it raises a fair amount of money. It's a $500,000 right now is $314,000. So what happened was back in 2014 they passed $1 million for the fire and a $500,000 for the police because they thought that's all they needed, and of course over time police costs have gone up and the department's grown. And so there's getting to be quite a shortfall between what the $500,000 brings in. So
and it's 10 years, for heaven's sake, or almost.
Yeah, that's true. 2014. It's been. It will be 10 years by next year, won't it? So you're only allowed to go up to $1 million. So we thought, well, it would probably be smart planning ahead to get that $1 million. And people here are pretty supportive of the police, so I'm hoping it'll be a successful venture.
So what's a mill, Mayor Flynn? What's a mill? People don't quite understand what that means.
It is kind of complicated how they do the property taxes, and it's I usually try to translate into what it actually costs people, and what the city gets in property taxes. We actually have 4 mills just for the general fund, and then we have $1 million for fire and $500,000 for police. So altogether that's $5.5 million. And every year we tell the county, okay, what the millage is going to be around October. So if this passes in February or in March, then next October we'll tell the county, oh well, there's an extra $500,000 for police, and then it'll go. So it's a delay of about 1.5 years or so before it actually goes into effect. But the interesting thing about the tax is what's set up in Arkansas. You know, most of our money we get from sales tax, the city of Bella Vista, and the property tax, the great bulk of it goes to schools, and a little bit goes to the county, and so we don't actually get that much out of property tax. We get about $200 per house, the city of Bella Vista. So it's really just a small piece of the pie. And, you know, a lot of people think, oh, I'm paying all these property taxes. Well, it's going for other things. We don't get it. So mostly we're relying on the sales tax as our main source of income.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really that mill kind of, all right, this is what I'm hearing. So if I'm wrong, you just help me, because I'm sure there's others out there that don't get it either. It's kind of a designator for like when this money comes in, this amount goes here, this amount goes here, this amount goes here. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, so they collect the property tax at the county level, and then they see how much each group gets. So.
And we don't have any say over that. They track it all. They meaning the county.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. We
all
just,
right.
Same way with sales tax. We hear from others what it is, and just, here's your share. You know, we get a share of the county sales tax, which is pretty significant because our county is so successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what? Why don't we just kind of go into the financial thing right now too? Because and Skip, we'll do the zero thing in a minute. But I know you're in the middle of your audit and your budget planning, et cetera, et cetera. But could we talk about the financial stuff first?
Sure. We just got the financial audit in from for 2022. The auditors just completed. It's a accounting firm called Forvis, Forvis. In fact, it used to be called BKD. These accounting firms are all merging every time you turn around. But you can actually see their sign on the freeway as you're driving down. I think it's in Rogers that you drive right by it and see the sign for their building. But it's the first time we've used that auditor, and they're really good, very thorough. And we got a good report, so we were pleased with that. And the results in 22 were all accurate. And that's really what, it gives me, and I'm sure the citizens, a certain amount of comfort when an outside person looks at all the books and says, okay, everything's okay. We used to have auditing done by the state, and they do it for free. But once we went and had a bond issue, the bond people require that you get an outside accounting firm. And it does cost you some money to do that, but they do a really good job. And like I say, it gives me a good feeling when they come back and say, hey, we've checked everything out and it's all good.
Well, and also, just for clarity, for those, I'm kind of one of those nerdy types that likes details and stuff, but also, I thought it was interesting the other night at the work session when the auditor was talking about the fact that we don't really use GAAP.
Yeah.
We use, what is it that we use?
Oh, they call it regulatory accounting. Yeah, GAAP is generally accepted accounting principles, and that's what most people in the U.S. use.
And understand.
And companies and whatnot. And the state of Arkansas, their statutes allow you to use this regulatory method, they call it. And it's a little more, it's closer to cash basis and less accrual.
Okay.
So it's actually very close to being just a straight cash basis. But the thing I go by, a few of the big cities actually have gone to using GAAP in Arkansas, but I think there's like 10 cities use GAAP, and everyone else uses this regulatory method.
Okay.
Where our director of finance told me it's less expensive to use the regulatory method, and it's good enough for the bond people, and they're pretty picky.
Yes.
The bondholders, I mean, they have attorneys and accountants look at everything when you first get the bond. So I thought, well, if it's good enough for them, then it's good enough for me.
Totally.
So, yeah.
So where are you in the budget process? Right square in the middle, working out the details.
Yeah, we are. We just gave a preliminary budget the other day, and it's exactly right. We're working out the details, and it should be all done in early December, and council will vote on it in December. I think by law you have to have it done by the end of January, but we always do it a little bit ahead of time. So.
And you've got some major good, needed capital projects coming up that you're working that into the budget for the upcoming year.
Yeah. Some of the things we're talking about with the, well, of course, the fire training tower is supposed to be done in December. And some of the things we're talking about, some of the bigger capital expenditures are some of the things we're doing on that building there, turning it into living quarters and whatnot. So.
And useful for future because,
yeah.
Planning for just today is not cutting it.
Yeah.
So that fire training station, fire training tower is supposed to be completed by December. What progress? Where are we there?
It's pretty far along. All the training tower itself, we had built a building, a kind of a classroom type building to go with it. And the training tower itself came in, and they actually have outside people that are specialists that just do that, just to put together training towers. So they come in and work on that, and I kind of like that. I'm a big believer in specialization, especially in construction type matters.
Yes.
But so they come in and they're working on that. So they're pretty far along. And the chief, I was talking to the fire chief the other day, Steve Sims, and he mentioned to me that I knew we'd be able to run an ambulance out of there, just for backup in case because when the other people are out on calls, then it's nice to have more backup. But they also will have a fire truck there, and they actually could even respond to fires if need be.
Oh.
So
Good.
so it's almost like there'll be a couple people out there, and it's almost like half a fire station, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
But, if everybody gets busy going on calls, it's nice to know you have another thing to rely on there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I didn't mean to skip over our zero safety plan because, but let's talk about that because tell it, what does that mean? Vision Zero Safety Action Plan.
Yeah, we brought that up at the work session. There's quite a bit of conversation
Yes, there
about
was.
it, as you know. It's it's really a national thing, and our regional folks, and it's having a goal of having 0 fatalities from traffic. And there's a particular emphasis on bike riders and pedestrians, but it's fatalities for any reason, automobile, whether you're in an automobile or what. And so that's most people say, well, that's pretty ambitious to have 0 fatalities. Now, Bella Vista is pretty close to that right now. Actually, we have very few. But the idea of it is that every time you're making a new crosswalk or building a new street or changing a street around, that you think about that, what's the safest way to do this, and what would make people the safest. So, I think it's a good thing to, one of the things, once you become mayor, you think about a lot, is how to keep people as safe as possible. And that would be from fire, from accidents, any type of accident, really. And so I think it's a good thing to, to have that as a goal. Regionally and nationally, 0 fatalities seems awfully ambitious, but I guess they wanted to go for a worthwhile goal. But I think Bella Vista, we're within striking distance of doing that. And, I'm all for, doing our best to try to prevent that sort of thing.
But you brought up some, I'm pretty sure it was you, that we're kind of already doing a lot of that because of, let's look at the bridge you just put in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Mercy Way Bridge, me personally, I like the way they did that because they were going to have a bike lane it's an extension really of the Razorback Greenway, but it's completely blocked off from where the cars are. And I've always been a bigger fan of having the bike separate than, a lot of places you'll see, and I don't blame people for trying to have bike lanes and whatnot, but they'll draw a little picture of a bike on the asphalt. And that never quite did it for me when there's cars right there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty safety oriented, and I kind of like the idea of having some kind of separation if you can.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, this is going to take a while, and it's just getting kind of started here anyway. So we're going to see more about this as we go forward, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So we're going to take a break here in a few minutes, but let's talk about new restaurants.
Yeah. We are having some things happen commercially. The building right next to the History Museum has a new restaurant in there, Fox Trail, that just opened recently. And of course we had, some people may have heard, a restaurant called Duffer's over on the west side had recently gone out, but they are going to have a new restaurant in there. My understanding is it's going to be Italian, and it's going to be, I guess I would say it's owned by the same people that own Table Mesa.
Oh, so it'll be good.
So yeah, well, I think it's people that know how to run a restaurant.
Exactly.
So I feel good about that.
Yeah. Called Bella's Table?
Yeah, that's a rumor. That's what I've heard the name is, but that kind of makes sense because they've been starting restaurants different places and usually putting the word table in there.
Yeah, like it used to be Fred's Hickory Inn, and now it's Table at Hickory Inn or something like that.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are they the ones, or is it somebody different that also are at the Bend? That might be Tuscan Trotter. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah. But anyway, so look forward to that. That'll be good stuff for sure. And we're sorry to see Duffer's go because it's been around a long time. But you know what? Progress is progress, and we really have no rights without knowing all the facts of why that happened.
Yeah.
So let's just move on
Yeah.
and enjoy what we can. All right, so let's take a quick break. We'll be right back because we have a lot of other things to talk about.
Okay,
All
thank
right?
you.
We'll be back in a minute. We are back. You're watching In with Flynn at Bella Vista Community Television. So let's continue our talk, Mayor Flynn.
Okay.
Farmers Market. Wow, really successful this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a really great year. You know, it's over there by Mercy Clinic, and Becky Parmley's just, I think, done a great job. It's really increased and improved in pretty much every way. And they're still going in October. Their last day is October 29. They're going to have something called the Harvest Festival, and they have kind of some special stuff going on there for the last day. So we're already making plans for next year.
I was just going to say, this is a continued thing, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
Yeah, it generated a lot of buzz this year, and I feel really good about the future of it. So.
Well, Becky's very good with coming up with ideas and getting sponsors and things like that. She does a good job with that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, when we interviewed her, when we needed to get a new manager, the last one had moved out of town. When we interviewed her, she was from Iowa and actually had been on a farm. So I thought, well, she's a real farmer, so she knows about farmers markets. Plus, she's involved in as a vendor at the Bentonville one. So you just naturally get ideas naturally if you're a vendor and you observe things. And she'd been a vendor at ours in the past, so.
Yeah, she does all kinds of jams and jellies and sauces and things. I don't know when she has time to do everything she does, but you know what? You know this. You can get more work out of a busy person than anybody else.
Yeah.
Because they have to pretty much manage everything they're doing.
Yeah.
So if you want something done, ask a busy person.
Yeah, I'll remember that.
That's what I've always heard. That's how I get saddled with a lot of things.
Yeah,
But that's okay.
there you go.
That's okay. Okay, and now let's talk about, especially, we mentioned this, I believe, the other day, but now it's becoming to fruition. Let's talk about Maryland first, and I'm talking about the statue out in front of the building you're about to renovate.
Yeah, we had so much construction going on at the fire station there, fire station number 1. So, and Maryland had been gifted to us with the help of the Arts Council several years ago. So we thought, well, this might be a good opportunity to move it. And working with the POA, it was decided to move it over by the Bluebird Trail on Reardon. You know, we have 2 or 3 sculptures there that we had rented out last year for a year. And that's going to be an ongoing program. So we thought, well, that might be a good place for it. You know, a lot of people would see it. And I think that area is going to get busier and busier because actually I think it's going to be quite a hub because the Razorback Greenway is going to, be extended out to there and in there. And of course, they're building that tree house right now for the kids over there. And they've got the tunnel going under Reardon Road now, and the trail goes right by there.
Let's talk about that, because that's another thing that the city's helping the Arts Council do. We've got a mural going in there, don't we?
Yeah. Usually, oftentimes around the tunnels, there's some cement, so you're able to put some artwork. And we have Paige Dirksen doing a mural there, because there's a fair amount of surface there at that tunnel. It's on the side toward the park I'm talking about, toward Reardon. And she did the mural at the library, among other things, inside the library, which was a big hit.
Right.
And she's got a few others around town. I know of one that's on I'm not sure what that shop is. It's on County Road 40, so technically it's just outside of Bella Vista. But there's one on the side of the building faces you
did she
about
do
bikes.
the bike thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody needs a bike. or
Everybody
something.
needs a
Yeah.
bike.
So anyway, she's very talented, so we're excited about that. And she's actually going to squeeze that in, I think, for the end of the year. I asked the Arts Council, hey, are we running out of good weather? And they said, no, I think we've still got enough warm weather to get it completed.
Yeah. We're kind of wanting, the Arts Council is kind of wanting, as we move forward, places to where, you know, whether you're hiking, whether you're biking, or whatever you're doing, like places they can stop in front of and take a picture and it says, hey, I was in Bella Vista, you know, somehow or another. So that's kind of the plan. And you know, that Bluebird Park, it's such a nice joint thing between the POA and the city, and I really think that's going to be more of a sculpture park. I mean, it really is. And that treehouse, my goodness.
Yeah.
Even I'd like to get up in that treehouse. But it covers like lots of trees. It's not one tree, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, everybody needs to kind of go out and take a look at Bluebird Park. It's not finished, but it will be. And Marilyn will be there before too long.
Yeah.
You know what? I went out the other day after talking to you and took a picture of Marilyn and got dimensions and everything so that we could move it. Do you know what was next to it? Right at her base, and it looks like it had been there a little while, was a dozen red roses in a little thing.
Yeah.
Somebody has a fan.
Yeah.
Somebody loves Marilyn.
Yeah.
And it was laying there on the ground.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that to me. I said, well, maybe it was her birthday or something. We just didn't know it.
Who knows? But I just thought, and I didn't even know it was there. It didn't register. But in the picture, sure enough, those roses are laying right there.
Yeah.
So, okay. And again, we had a very successful, the animal shelter. What did they do?
Yeah, they had the annual Wiener Dog race at the park there right below Loch Lomond, and it's amazing. That's one of the bigger events of the year. It gets tremendous attendance, and now they've expanded it so that's it's dachshunds racing, and they also have corgis. So it's just a lot of fun. Everybody seems to get a big kick out of it. And the police came out with their dog, did a demonstration.
Oh, good.
And they had a costume contest. Even that seemed very competitive to me.
Costume for the dogs?
Yeah. And there was a lot of entries, I'll tell you, and a lot of really clever costumes. So that was kind of fun. But, you know, I stayed and watched some of the races after I read the proclamation and whatnot, and it kind of went like I pictured it would. There's a few dogs that are really, really fast and go tearing down the track, and there's some that run a few feet and turn around and go back to the beginning. So some that take a right turn. And sometimes they'll be a few feet from the finish line, and they're not really focused on the finish line. Somebody else will zip past them while they're kind of dawdling a little, you know. So
somebody was telling me their dog in particular was like fast off the starting line, was several lengths of everybody else, got within a few feet of the finish line, and it was like somebody said, squirrel, so they went off this way. And he lost.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just fun.
Yeah.
So, all right. So anyway, another good thing, though, is we need to support our animal shelter. It's a really good one.
Yeah.
And we need for folks to go there if you're looking for a pet, or if you want to foster, or if you even want to, you know, just check it out and go down there, take a look. And they have volunteer opportunities. I think you can walk a dog or do some things like that. And then they always need food and supplies and things like that. So.
And they did mention me recently, you know, these things kind of go in cycles, and they have quite a few dogs there right now. They're pretty close to capacity, so they'd love it if you'd come down and adopt a dog.
Yep.
You know, they need customers. But they do a great job on fundraising, and, you know, the city helps them out some, but they really accomplish a lot with the fundraising, work very hard at it over the year. And that Wiener Dog is probably one of their more fun fundraising events. So,
absolutely, it is. Absolutely. Okay, so there's some Halloween things coming up.
Yeah, the one thing I was aware of was Bella Vista Business Association was having a Halloween party and costume contest and whatnot, and it's on Friday, October 27. It's 5:30 to 8. It's just north of Allen's there, so I gather it's outside at that location at Sugar Creek Shopping Center. And I know there's always a bunch of churches in the area have trunk or treat. That's got to be a common thing, and that's usually right on October 31. So.
Well, I'd like to give a plug if I could, because there's an awful lot of master naturalists that live in Bella Vista. But let me tell you about another one that's happening.
Okay.
And if you want to see the most giant carpenter ant you've ever seen, you'd want to come down. Hobbs National Park, it's a state park, I apologize.
Yeah.
But it is a wonderful place, and it's really not that far away. And the master naturalists help Hobbs put on a living forest every year.
Yeah.
So this year, we're trying to explain to people the chinkapin tree has kind of become extinct. So many national parks and state parks, et cetera, have started replanting groves of chinkapins to try to get them back up to where they need to be. Anyway, there is a mystery going on about whose fault is it that we don't have any chinkapins, and how do we get them back?
Yeah.
So as you go through the Ozark Trail, through the forest, there will be several little spots where you can talk directly to or watch, for instance, a carpenter ant and a woodpecker. Or you go a little further and the blue jay and the squirrel. You go a little further and it's a past human about, using the trees, etc. And then there's the bear. And then, anyway, it's a fabulous thing and lots of fun, and it's worth the drive. And you get to see me in the biggest ant costume you've ever seen in your life.
And when is that?
It is the Saturday, the 28th.
Yeah.
And it's all day, actually, so. And there's many other things going on. There's so many other Halloween things. So what are you going to be for Halloween?
Yeah, but I think I might go as the mayor.
As the mayor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're having a little get-together at City Hall. So
Okay.
just for the employees.
So I got you. Okay. All right. Well, anything else before we sign off for today? Or?
Well, just you're talking about the master naturalist. I think it's just great. In this area, there's so much emphasis on that. Walton Foundation gives trees to all the different cities and emphasizes planting trees.
Yes.
Yeah, we recently had the tree giveaway, and they also give trees that are put on the trails in different areas around town to help the canopy. I don't know if everyone's aware of that, and just all the master gardeners and master naturalists. There's just a lot of people in this area who are, aware and emphasizing the environmental side of things and the aesthetic side of things. I think it's a great thing.
Well, and we even have something that hasn't, of course, been accepted yet or voted on, but it may be. I know that Taylor at the Community Development Services is working hard with the garden club, the master gardeners, the master naturalists, the tree board, and anybody else that she can to try to keep Bella Vista where pollinators are, people buy and plant the right plants for the pollinators.
Yeah.
And if they're native, they're easier to take care of. But also just to make it, we're a monarch city.
Yeah.
As well as a tree city.
That's right.
So there's lots of things that people can be doing.
Yeah.
But thank you for saying that. And the master naturalists are here to help the city with any time you need our expertise. Okay? All right? All right. So that's all for today, folks. We thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. And if you want to stay in tune, and you want to be in like Flynn, join us again next month, third Wednesday of each month. But more importantly, go to city council meetings and find out what's going on. We like people in the audience, don't we?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. So see you next month.
Thank you.